Deadbolt, Don Peoples. Let's talk about it. So yeah, man, let's get into Power Book 3, Raising Kanan. Yeah, I mean, now looking at this whole premiere, I've come to a conclusion. And, the conclusion is this whole 50 Cent glorifying his mother's life. And this has went from get rich or die trying and now has morphed into raising Kanan. Um, After watching the season premiere, I've come, I've made my own interpretations of it. And, where I see this going and, predicting it before it even gets started. You know what I mean? Um, it just seems like 50 Cent is really infatuated with everything dealing with his mother's past and his mother being a very influential piece in his life, being a gangster, heading a crew. Um, 50 Cent, I felt really wanted to tell his story. And I feel like this is where either he's going to solidify himself or this is where it's going to, where the cookie crumbles, so to speak. And the reason why I say, the cookie crumbles, because if this doesn't hit, I think it's going to mess up the flow. And when I mean the flow is I really thought you should have went into Tommy's next. I felt like Tommy's would have been a good one to go into because Tommy has so much built in, you know, wealth in the series, being one of the day ones and all like that. I feel like with Kanan, I feel like you're trying to tell a story that you're not going to be able to put in with the whole Power Book series. Like it has no place within the series. I'm really anxious to see how he's going to incorporate and tie the strings in and stuff like that because it just seems like everything is having this, everyone has the same narrative from Power Book 2 and, Mary J and her whole family situation to now Kanan and his family being kind of like similar, even down to, his cousin, who is a female and, she is in the crew as well. But I just feel like, a lot of the stuff that is being portrayed is regurgitated, you know. As bad as he wants to try to really, show and pay homage to his mother as being one of the top dogs in this era. Um, I think he should have kind of steered away from that a little bit. I mean, you telling like the same story as Get Rich or Die Trying, in a sense. I don't know how long his mother's gonna stay alive in this whole, series, the Power Book 3, but you kind of know where this is going and where this is going to end, and you kind of seen it before. Where in Tyreek's case, in Power Book 2, you really didn't know where it was going to go or what the twist or the plot was going to be. With this, you could see it a mile away. And I think this is leading up, obviously, to BMF, which will be his next venture that he's going into. I'm kind of interested to see how this all plays out. I mean, 50 has a lot on his plate. I think, this was a pivotal move, and I wonder what Courtney thought about this move, and was this a right move to drop Raising Kanan ahead of Tommy's? Because I think that was a debate, because you got momentum now. This can dead all that. And off the back, you just see a lot of forcing, even with the crew makeup, You know, shout out to Joey Badass though. You know, my man playing a hell of a role. You know, his first major role in a series, and you know, I'm anxious to see how his character plays out. You know, but it just seems like this whole situation and how it's set up is feeling forced. So as I look at, you know, what's the next move for raising Kanan, I really wasn't too satisfied with the premiere. Not one of those premieres that has me salivating for, you know, the second episode. You know what I mean? Like, I really want to know how, you know, he's going to spin this, and how this is, like I said, it's going to tie into everything else, because you got to make the stories tie in. You know, where does a young Ghost and a young Tommy come into the situation, because you did grow up allegedly, you know, with them. You know, that's how it all spent off, but now it's like you got a whole different crew. So I kind of want to know how that whole situation was going to play out. Like, how you going to get both of those to tie in. You know what I'm saying? You know, like I said, I know the motive, and I know why you want this. You know, you doing this because you really want to glorify your mother and her status in the crack epidemic era in New York, and especially in South Jamaica, Queens. So raising Kanan, as much as you need this to follow the script, it's not going to follow the script, because you wanted to tell out your life and how you was raised, you know, with the wolves and everything like that. And you kind of put a lot of fiction around it, but, you know, you still want to glorify your mother as being this big type mob boss. And, you know, I'm just anxious to see how Courtney gonna be able to blend this in and make all this tie in, because she's the mastermind behind the power. See, 50 is just the face. So we want to see how you because right now you got Courtney in the pickle. I know, you know, she's great with the pen. She's great at, you know, the semantics and making things go along. But I think she's really going to be put to the test on this one. And this is the one that's really going to keep everything going and keep everything afloat. Because if you lose your core audience, then, you know, what's the next move? You know what I mean? Like, how is it going to play out then? Because one of the most important books, Tommy, Power Book 4, hasn't even come yet. You know, hasn't come out. And then you're going to try to put BMF in between. So like I said, you have a lot on your plate and what you're trying to do. But if you pull it off, you've successfully took over Hollywood. And, you know, a lot of people, you know, 50 Cent, you know, when you start thinking, you know, power players in Hollywood and people that's creating shows and content, you're going to have to mention my man's name. You know, now, even though For Life did not do what it was supposed to do, I think that was a bad move putting that on ABC, especially, you know, a family-friendly network, and you're talking about snitches and drug dealings and penitentiaries and stuff. And, you know, it coming on in the late hour, I think that also messed it up. Now, if it had been prime time, say on Fox or NBC, maybe, you know, 8 o'clock slot, maybe it could have did something. But, you know, having that 10 o'clock, you know, slot, I think killed it. Especially being on a, you know, a family-friendly network. So, you know, 50, I think now has put himself in a place to where it's either going to be sink or swim, because you're dropping a lot of content. So it's either you're going to oversaturate the market and people going to rock with you, or you're going to oversaturate it and people going to start falling back and look for other avenues of entertainment. Because, you know, let's keep it a bean. You know, a lot of what you putting out is all the stereotypes about us. The drug dealing, the hustling, the murdering, the pimping, the scandalous, you know, backstabbing behavior that black people have been, you know, stigmatized with. You know, this has that whole stigma over what we are in our culture and stuff. And I think what's being portrayed is the same, you know, to keep the cycle going. It's just on a visual level now. But I digress. because at the end of the day, we still want you to make, the content that you're doing and be successful. You know what I mean? Because it's not a lot of us, especially on the executive level, able to drop shows at random. Because right now he got the keys. Right now he can do whatever he wants as far as shows and visuals. So I think this is very important for raising Kanan to hold his spot and keep people interested in the whole power situation, because now it's called Power Universe, because you're going to have so many, different books, and those books going to have sequels and, stuff of that nature. But I really just think you put in Raising Kanan right here instead of dropping Tommy's, I think it could come back and bite you. It can come back and bite you. So, it's one of those things to where I hope you made the right decision. First episode, I'm not all the way hooked in. We'll see how it builds up. Normally the Power series takes about 2 to maybe episode 3, maybe 4 for it to really start cranking up. So we definitely going to do another review on this. But I just wanted to speak more so not on just Raising Kanan, but 50's place in Hollywood, and where he stands now as far as to gain or to lose behind this situation. Y'all get in the comment box, man. Y'all let me know what y'all think. Has anybody, obviously a lot of people I know have watched the premiere. What does y'all think? And what are y'all takes on it? I want to hear that. Like, subscribe, hit the notifications, man, so you can be notified every time I drop a vid. Y'all know what it is, man. We building this channel from the ground. Thank everybody for rocking with me. We pushing up past the 200 mark. Let's keep moving. Let's keep grinding. Y'all know what it is, man. It's your boy Don Peoples. Deadbolt. Gone.